Hi, and welcome back to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you that is about somebody who I think had an opportunity to talk about a situation honestly, and they chose not to. And now there's something, it feels kind of sudden, where like they don't have the advantage anymore. They don't have the most believable of stories, or, maybe new evidence is coming out in a cold case. But I feel like somebody who has lied is being exposed for having lied, even though they may have been able to convince people of whatever this is for a pretty long time, either who they are, what they did, where they were, what they didn't do. But let's call in spirit with a little bit of Winchanta. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Jess. Hello, Bichitata. Hello, Illuminati. Hello, Renata. How are we doing today? I added some members only content for those of you that have signed up. Thank you for doing so. If you are not aware, yesterday I launched memberships. I'm pretty excited about that. I am also, of course, still offering personal readings. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box below. Hello, Christina. How are you doing? Hello, Elizabeth. Sorry to miss you. I hope you're having a good day. Let's dive in. I feel like maybe we need the situations deck, actually. So we'll start there. What else do we have? Pretending. We'll keep that one. And racing in the reverse. This is somebody who had gotten pretty comfortable in the story that they had woven for people, or the, illusion they had leveraged to protect themselves. This could be somebody who's had some financial issues, or this is just somebody who really wants to be seen as more respectable or innocent or, honorable. But they are definitely pretending or holding something back, and that's what has been exposed or is no longer going to be a secret. I'm good. How are you? It's not an easy one to spell, is it? So we have something to do with sexual chemistry here. So we've got the magnetic card, unexplainable pull and can't resist, and desire, lust, sexual chemistry. So this is somebody who has been trying to, I think, make it seem like they had no connection with a person they were physically attracted to. So this would be, denying that they cheated, or denying that they were pursuing someone that they shouldn't. Maybe it was a coworker or like a friend's spouse, but there's reason that this person felt like they really needed to keep this hush hush. They didn't want people to know. Hello, Laura. I gotcha. Hello, Dwayne. How are you doing? So we've got bounty hunter, chaser, hot pursuit, and lost, ghosted, blocked, cut off. Explains why I chose the ghost tarot at the beginning. We've got a love connection, or a physical connection at least, where somebody was very interested and then all of a sudden, poof, gone. For some of you, I'm picking up that this is a person who had a one-night stand, or had, relations over a weekend or a week or whatever, and then they left and didn't realize that maybe there was a child born. For others of you, this could be a little bit, well, we'll see what comes out, but there's a reason they wanted to hide this connection or this relationship, is what I'm getting at. Yeah, I think this is somebody who might have a love child, or this forbidden love from the past is the one who's showing up, because we have An unexpected visit. Somebody saying, "Oh, hello! I bet you didn't expect me." But it's gonna happen, and I think somebody is a little bit upset about it. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure it's bright enough for you to see the cards. So I think this is either an extramarital affair or a connection that somebody didn't feel like they should have. There may or may not be a child involved, but there is a visit that somebody is not expecting or did not want to have. And I feel like it's making this person unable to say, I was not in a connection with that person, or I never had, horizontal mambo time with that person. That assertion might be a little bit in question now. Hello, Patrick. How are you doing today? Hello, Pharaoh. How are you? What else do we have? Two of Swords in the reverse. Knight of Wands in the reverse and the Hierophant in the reverse. I really feel like this is somebody who may have had a child outside of wedlock, but more importantly, probably somebody who had a child with somebody who was in a relationship, probably already married, or it could be somebody that okay, for those of you who know the show, I just saw Hot Priest. He has a real name, but everyone called him Hot Priest, if you know that show. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? This is somebody's mistake, how they would phrase it, not me, coming back to haunt them. I did everything I could to make it kind of smooth over and nobody's thinking about that, or I tried to deny. Nobody, has proof, so it's fine. But now the person that they had that little fling with or a child is in town or on their doorstep. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. We've got the Three of Swords in the reverse. Three of Pentacles in the reverse. And the Moon in the reverse. There was some pain or emotion that they felt they had to mask. So I don't get that this is like some robot who has no feelings for other people. I think we have somebody who was genuinely trying to hide what happened because they felt like they lost control. And they believed that if they were honest about what happened, that they would lose standing in the community, or they would lose their, existing relationship or their friends, maybe their job. They found a way to justify lying about this because they wanted to, protect their life as it was, and had to just kind of like live with the sting of losing this person that maybe they did actually love, but it was like a flash in the pan kind of connection. What else do we have? Strength in the reverse. Knight of Swords. Eight of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, I feel like this is somebody who gave in to temptation. They felt overwhelmed by somebody's magic. They could not resist this person. But with the Knight of Swords, it was a very quick encounter or a very quick couple of days. It was not like they dated for a year or, talked about getting married. This was a lot about like an initial spark or a lot of chemistry felt instantly that somebody acted on. But then with the Eight of Wands in the reverse, there was no communication after that. So kind of makes me think of, is it after sunset, after sunrise, before, with Ethan Hawke? I think that's who it was. Because they had that, like, I don't know, weekend in France, or I don't know if it was the US. There's a couple of movies with them, but they had this intense connection and then they didn't talk to each other. Eight of Pentacles, Four of Swords, and the Four of Cups. So 2 8s in a row and 2 4s. Yeah, it looks like there was just so much going on. You know, I got caught up in my work, or I had to go back home, or, you know, circumstances just didn't allow for us to find a way to spend more time together. So it is what it is, right? Just kind of accepting it. Let's go with, this is the Fairy Lenormand. What else do we have? Number 18, which is the dog, and number 36, which is the cross. Loyalty and the dark night of the soul, or loss. I feel that somebody has chosen obligation or responsibility over whatever this really intense spark was that they felt with somebody else. And though I think they have chosen to do right by this obligation, or be honorable towards this family or this relationship, they have still maintained some sort of, like, I still think about it, or I still miss you, or I still wonder what would have happened. I still feel like it's a loss that I didn't get to know you any better or pursue that. So kind of like a what if, like what would have happened if we'd actually had the chance. Hello, Matt. How's it going? That's a good call, Michael. So we've got the book, number 26. This talks about secrets, talks about wisdom. I think it's about a secret, though. Yeah. So they have remained quiet or stubborn. I think maybe even doubled down and guarded this secret. They do not want anybody to know what's going on. They don't want to admit that they gave in, or that they did not have self-control in this situation. They want it to seem like nothing happened. This is the Jack-o'-lantern tarot. What else do we have? Ooh, okay. Yeah, the Devil and the Nine of Cups, with the Knight of Wands in the reverse again. Yeah, this is somebody who gave in to temptation. Somebody who wanted something just for the sake of wanting it. They felt like they shouldn't, but they did. Knight of Wands in the reverse is sexual energy. I feel this is somebody who pursued a physical connection with somebody they knew they shouldn't have, because they were either already in a relationship, that person was already in a relationship, or they had some obligation, like, you know, you're my coworker, that's probably a bad idea, that kind of thing. But they did it anyway. Hey, Michael, how's it going? Page of Wands in the reverse. Knight of Pentacles. Queen of Swords and the Lovers in the reverse. I can't tell anyone because if I do, there would be consequences. I feel this person was ready to take this secret to their grave. They did not want anybody to have that ability to like hold that over them. Like, hey, remember that time you told me that secret? I'm going to tell somebody unless you give me some money. Nope, that was never going to be a thing. So I do feel like they've kept the secret. They have made the decision to never speak about it or try even to not think about it. But with the lovers in the reverse, there's something that happens that's out of their control. I'm looking at it as you don't have a choice. You can't, this is not a lever that you can pull or like a factor that you can manipulate. You can control how you speak to others. You can control what access they have to your information, what secrets you share, but there's somebody else out in the world that can tell this story. So I feel like this is probably been at least 5 years, probably longer than that. And this relationship is coming to light. Page of Pentacles in the reverse, 9 of Swords, and the 7 of Wands. This is all about timing. And I think it does kind of, it's like a little bit of like a crash landing. Somebody has this pop-up visit, right? They might have chosen a very interesting time, like someone's getting married and this person shows up. Somebody is about to leave for a vacation. I don't know, but this is like a pretty big setback or is very concerning for, what are we calling you? I don't want to call you the devil. That seems a little bit too much. I'm going to call this person the bear because we did have the bear come out from the Lenormand. The bear is the person who's been holding that information to themselves, not wanting anybody to realize that they had this relationship long ago. So something about timing is lining up and someone feels like now, maybe it's even, I know you're going to be at this wedding, so I'm going to go talk to you. But we have somebody working up the courage to go say, I know what you did last summer. I know what you did, 18 summers ago. I'm the product of that. There's someone I think who's shown up to say, hi, I think you're my father. Or there's someone who's showing up to say, I haven't seen you in a really long time, but I've been thinking about you ever since, we had that weekend or whatever it was. And I think it's a genuine attempt, whether it's I'm your child, I'd like to get to know you, or I still think about you. There's like an earnestness here, right? Like I can't forget that connection. So like, have you thought about it too? Or did you know you had a kid? Most would not have known. For those where there was a child, they did not know. They were not told. So we have Emperor and Judgment in the reverse. They didn't feel like they had a choice. Or they were never given the choice to be involved in this person's life if there is a child. If this is about, if there's no child, if this is about, somebody coming back into the bear's life to, say, is there still a connection here? Is there a possibility we could like try again? Is now a better time? I think it's going to put this bear who could be the emperor. They may not be ready for that kind of a decision. They may not know how to, they probably need to sleep on it, Like, oh gosh, that is a tricky question. Hold, please. Hello, Frederick. How are you doing? What else do we have? King of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles. Lots of earth energy. We could be dealing with Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. This is somebody who I think has been really focused on building a life for themselves, and I do think they've prospered. And I do feel like there is somebody else in their life. So whether or not they are married, the person who has tried to keep this long ago relationship a secret, I do feel like they have a lot to lose right now in their perspective. Death in the reverse. Sun and Page of Wands with the 3 of Cups. Yeah. For some of you, this is an ex that came back into the bear's life, and that's when, things heated up, and they had already tried to assure somebody, no, I'm not dealing with that person anymore. I've put that in my past. I've let go of that. No, they didn't. For others of you, this is specifying the child in question is male. This is a general reading, so it's not going to apply to everyone. But I do think that this is somebody who, if this is their child, I feel like it looks just like them. Just like them. So the concern here is, now that I'm faced with some sort of proof, or like somebody can make it quite clear that this affair or this connection really did happen in the past, how do I handle it? Am I going to just embrace the truth and say, I wish I'd known better, or I wish I'd handled that differently, but we are who we are? Or are they going to try to dig in their heels and really make it seem like, oh no, I'm too good to do that. Don't believe this person. 8 of Swords, 10 of Cups. Page of Pentacles. I think for some of you, this person tries to pay off whoever shows up in town. Hey, I didn't expect I'd ever see you again. You could totally mess up my marriage because, my spouse doesn't know about you and I can't be seen with you. Or, hey, I can't have you in my life because it would ruin my marriage. So no, I can't talk to you. Here's some money, leave me alone. I feel like this Page of Pentacles is something to do with, what do you want? Money? I'll give you money. Just please don't interrupt my life. For others of you, this is somebody who has felt like something was missing, or like something was off. And when this presumably teen or adult child shows up to introduce themselves, they are overwhelmed with happiness. This is a new beginning. So I know that's quite the difference, but it's a general reading. It's going to depend on this person's ability to embrace change. But for many of you, this is somebody who would be excited to find out that they actually do have a job. You're funny, Pharaoh. We've got the Fool, Three of Pentacles, Judgment in the reverse, 10 of Swords. I do feel like this is going to lead to an uncomfortable conversation with whoever felt that this bear owed them loyalty, if somebody was cheated on, or if there was an employer who said, please don't fraternize with the students, that kind of thing. So there is a concern over this problem, but I also think there's a lot of let's just adapt, let's embrace, this is how life goes. I'm not going to blame this person. They they didn't ask to be born, right? I think for many of you, it's about how much time has passed and if that has kind of enabled somebody to live their own life a little bit more or worry less about how people might judge them. Strength. Emperor in the reverse. Two of Wands. This child who may have grown up with only one parent or not known, who their father was or not really understood, their place in their family is a very strong person. I think if this is about a teen or an adult child meeting their father for the first time, or for some of you, maybe it's meeting their mother. This is like, I'm impressed. Somebody raised you well. This is like, I want to get to know you better. I can't believe how cool you are. Somebody is really excited about having an addition to the family, and I feel like there's a welcoming energy from at least two people, right? Like, hey, sometimes it takes a little time to adjust when you find out there's a new member of the family. But I think there's like an immediate bond here between the parent who has been in separation with the child. Otherwise, we're going to see, for those of you where this does not have an adult child or teen child involved, this is somebody who has really made a life from themselves. This could be somebody who started their own business or pursued education that was really difficult, or did some amazing, noteworthy or all over newspapers or the news kind of thing. So I feel like there's lives that were supposed to be lived in separation for these two people. And when they reunite or when they see each other again, there's an understanding that maybe that's how things had to go, whether it's romantic or that family connection. We have Page of Cups in the reverse and the Four of Cups. There is a sense of rejection here that needs to be dealt with. And I feel like both people understand that, but they're approaching it in a mature way. Yeah, there's a secret departure here. Eight of Cups and the High Priestess. For some of you, we have a father saying, I would have chosen to be in your life, but I didn't get the chance because your mom snuck off in the middle of the night. For others of you, this is somebody who was trying to raise a child with this person that, maybe people didn't really approve of them being with, but then that mother took off in the middle of the night. There's something here about a separation that happens rather quickly. And now we have that kind of reconciling with how life went because we weren't together, because you weren't here, or because we only had that brief time together. Hi, Peggy. How are you doing? I hope things are going well for you. We've got the 10 of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Hanged Man. Yeah, I think there's a really sweet energy that might surprise somebody if they are knocking on a door and saying, hey, I think I might be your child. They may be surprised at how the family just takes them in and is super excited about it. For others of you, there could be somebody who is really shocked to see how much they look like this other parent. If this is a love interest showing up on the doorstep, they may be surprised to find out that this person has been thinking about them the whole time. But I feel like that separation had to happen for some reason. There were things that had to get worked out or things that had to change so that perspectives could change. This is the Voyage of the Soul. What else do we have? Vivid, imagination, lucidity, creativity, visions, and clairvoyance. Vessel, body, nourishment, wholesome nutrition and health. And spirits. The other side, souls, veil, mediumship, and contact. I think for some of you, this person who meets their child for the first time when they're, grown, may be shocked. They'll look at this child they didn't know existed or haven't seen in a very long time and see like their own parent, right? The genes are very clearly expressed in this child, and it might give them a little bit like of a start. There's something here that makes it very clear this person is related to the family, distinctive features. Or for those of you where this is not about a child, there is something that comes back to life, or somebody feels more motivated to take better care of their body, to choose, to live perhaps in a healthier way because they are excited about this reconciliation. There's a lot of feelings because I think somebody has tried to forget about all of this and how they felt about this person. But for many of you, I feel like there's an opportunity for them to reconcile or pursue a chapter 2, or at least have somebody feel included in a family. We have tomorrow, begin again, continue ahead, better days, relief, and awakened, eyes open, awareness, spiritual quest, and epiphanies. So life is changing for the better, even though it may be a bit of an unexpected turn. I do think that there's like love energy here. And sometimes it takes us a moment to catch our breath or understand what's happened before we can start talking and, move forward and everything's fine. But I do think that there is sort of happiness that comes from this reunion or this meeting. This is What's the News? What else do we have? Chained, codependency, unhealthy attachment, weighed down. Laughter, happiness, joy, healing, and fuego, chemistry, intense passion. Things are heating up. So the bear met this love interest when they were feeling weighed down or stuck, whether it was from their family or their spouse or their job. This was somebody who was desperate to have some sort of beautiful energy in their life. And the love interest that they encountered did bring that loving, happy energy into their life. And I feel like that's where this intense passion began, or why it was sparked. Really sad moment, really happy person. And, they didn't know how to resist this energy. Hi, Borger. How are you doing? What else do you have? The blues, scared, heavy emotions, mental distress. My boo, official status, exclusive relationship, seeing each other openly, and playa. Yeah, so there was an established relationship at the time. That could be why there was this codependent energy that made the bear kind of, I don't know, maybe they felt like they were going through a rough time, or they felt alone. And then this intense chemistry or passion that they found was too much of a temptation for them to avoid. And now that's coming out for people to find out about. Let's see. This is the signs of the times. What else do we have? Flamingo, fun, number 2. It was not just quick moments. This fun is something that led to something more. I'm telling you, there's a child here for many of you. We've got the family tree, number 42, ancestry. I think this is a child. But I think they get welcomed in the family, which makes me happy because nobody should be like punished for their parents having sex. Sorry, I tried to speak up, but nobody would listen to me. It's almost like I had no voice. Yeah. Water, surrender. So even though there's maybe concerns about how things look, or maybe I'm worried about people arguing, or maybe I feel like my spouse is mad at me, I think we have people being mature and loving and genuine saying, I think we should just make the best of it. Let's get to know each other. Let's enjoy life the way that it is. That was a long time ago. That doesn't mean that we have to be mad at this person. I'm here for this energy. I love it because instead of it getting contentious or argumentative or somebody being really, spiteful, we have people who are trying to say, let's just make the best of it. We only have one life, and now we have another person to add to our family, or we can, find a way to learn from this situation too. So I commend you, whoever this is for. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I love you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Toodles.